Hi and welcome back to another story from Reddit, Tales from Tech Support. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for future content. Let's now get straight into today's video. Defending audits for fun and profit. I haven't told any tales for a while. This takes place after I decided to quit a cybersecurity job that I thought untenable. I had left my most recent gig and decided that I needed to take a road trip to clear my head. I packed my saddlebags, made appropriate arrangements and headed west. I had originally planned to fly to a conference, but now I could leave early. 2 days later, I was experiencing the space that is Iowa. Highways in Iowa are something of a sensory deprivation tank for me. There's the boredom of being unable to sleep on a red-eye flight or staring at a hotel room ceiling not knowing what city or time it is. Then there's a ruler-straight interstate for hours. On a motorcycle, there's no radio or playlist to distract me from myself. My mind had been wandering since the Illinois border. I was going between self-doubt and wondering how much longer I could ride before I stripped naked and carried a decapitated seven-eyed goat head into a come and go. An image formed of the store clerk ringing up a customer. She'd turn, look at me and say, "Again?" I took the next highway rest stop and took a break to read a book and check my mail. The email is mostly noise, but there's an email from a recruiter I like asking me to get someone through a vendor risk assessment. I've done these in the past. It's a day of dumb questions about your firewall's update schedule, and occasionally I'll see an eldritch technical horror in the corner and varied levels of indifference about it. I should be able to distract an auditor if they hear otherworldly screaming and odd lights behind a closed door. I used to be an assessor, so I know how the game is played. I call him up. "Recruiter, good to hear from you. I've got a client in need called Dynapro. They just found out that they're being assessed in 2 days. Me. I'd love to help you, but I'm on a road trip. I don't think I could get there by then." Recruiter, are you close to an airport? Just fly to Denver from there. They'll pay expenses. Me. Looking at the map on the wall, Denver? I can be there in 2 days as long as they'll pay mileage. I call the contact at the vendor and tell her that I'll be there at 8 a.m. in 2 days. They're a little shocked, but they're good with the timing. I realize that I'm getting over on corporate America. I'm going to bill the mileage. I like riding motorcycles, but being paid to ride is sweet. Normally with these assessments, there's a spreadsheet describing the vendor's security posture and what they do for the bank demanding the assessment. 3 successive unanswered emails to the recruiter and the client about those details go unanswered. During a break, I do some research on Dynapro. Their website shows they're in utilization and risk management, which seems to be, we offer plausible deniability for unpopular customer-facing decisions through creative outsourcing. I just don't know what data they're handling or what they're doing with it. A day and a half later, I get to see Nebraska and eastern Colorado speed by under my feet. A quick trip to a Macy's and I have a passable outfit. While I'm reading a book and eating dinner, my phone buzzes. It's recruiter's response. "Here's all I have on Dynapro." It's a spreadsheet, but dated from last year and missing stuff. I still don't really know what the client uses Dynapro for, but I've learned a few things. It is possible to commit a crime against humanity with spreadsheet design. It's about 20 tabs, 12 fonts and Jackson Pollock's sense of color. Each client department has asked questions: compliance, security, ethics and legal, using their own definitions and color scheme. And of course, there are macros. Client security department is very interested in Dynapro's logs. They want detail and how Dynapro can make them available. Usually a bank of client size would just be happy with breach notifications and the right to view logs on request, but clients' questions imply that they want to inhale everything into their own security incident event manager, SIEM. That's pretty cool. I'd love to understand how. Dynapro's answers aren't too bad. They're doing the right things, mostly in the cloud. Still a few racks of servers at a colo. Dynapro's answers about the logging stuff are incomplete and written prospectively. We can, not we, do. I have a feeling that the only way they'll know of a breach if the attacker tells them or breaks something. The next morning, I'm at Dynapro's office in a well-manicured office park. In the lobby, I meet Cassie, Dynapro's compliance person. She doesn't seem happy to see me, yet hands me an agenda for the day. Me. Hi there. I was hoping to get some info and do a quick walkthrough. Cassie. What information do you need? Me. First, some coffee. Second, there's a spreadsheet you got from the bank. I have last year's, but it's incomplete. Cassie narrows her eyes as she points me to an unusually complicated coffee machine. Cassie. I wasn't comfortable filling that spreadsheet out this year. That's not a good sign. Me. I see. Did the bank ask about that? Cassie. They did. When I told them that we weren't going to fill it out this year, they scheduled the visit. Me. Okay. Good to know. I've got an older, incomplete one. Has anything changed? I let her look at my laptop screen. She scrolls through a few minutes while I figure out the coffee machine. Cassie. No. That's current. Me. Okay. Why didn't you answer the questions about logging? Cassie. Legal told us not to. Hoo boy. I take the fifth is rarely a reassuring answer here. Thankfully, coffee finally comes out of the coffee maker. I take my coffee and ask for a quick tour. Dynapro has a couple of Cube Farms customer service reps are answering calls for a variety of financial institutions. Signs hanging over the cubes note which large bank that group works for. Locked shredder bins are on every row. Good. Cubicles have privacy screens. Good. They even have generic security, ethics posters hanging on the walls. This should make even the most Stasi-trained auditor happy. Then I notice something odd against one wall. There's a safe with the door smashed off. The fireproof filling is visible and flaking off. Me. Cassie? What's this? Cassie, looking at me like I'm an idiot. It's a safe. Me. Yeah. You spent a lot of time looking smooth and professional, and this contradicts that story. Can we put this somewhere out of view? Cassie shrugs and texts someone. We find ourselves in a generic, cheap meeting room. Cassie calls someone on the speakerphone. Jürgen, the IT director, has joined the call. After a few pleasantries, I ask about my usual concerns: patching, logging and access. The answers I get aren't too bad, but they don't really meet the answers in the spreadsheet. Patching is whenever they have time, at least once a year. They can capture logs, but don't. They're willing to learn to keep client happy, but need guidance. Jürgen could dump a list of active users, but they're fairly open-handed with admin accounts. I hear Cassie get up. She mentions that Otto, the assessor, is here. She leaves to bring him back. Otto is older than I expected. He's got a vice president title, which doesn't really mean much at a bank. If I had to guess, his hobbies include yelling at traffic and the Minnesota Vikings, but he's going to branch out to the kids on his lawn. We start with Otto's process. We're going to go through 2 tabs on the spreadsheet, line by line. This will be fun. Every answer requires explanation, and he never seems happy with our answers, like he doesn't really understand them. Now he wants to talk about Dynapro's cloud environment. Otto, where are your data centers? Me. They're in a top 3 cloud providers environment. We're in the US East and US West regions. Otto, are all your employees who work there cleared? Me. No. No Dynapro employees work there. All access is remote. Auto. We require that all IT staff have background checks. Me. Right. Dynapro runs all IT staff through a 7-year check, state and federal. The cloud provider handles their own background checks. Auto. You're responsible for those checks. Me. Well, we don't have contact with those people. I can show you their current audit report or their marketing materials. Auto. That's insufficient. We all know those are lies. Me. Well, what would you accept to prove there's a background check? Otto, getting annoyed. It's not my job to tell you what's acceptable proof. When we talk about logging, things get stranger. Otto wants to know what we can provide, but when we offer to output it in any format they want, Otto won't disclose a standard. This is not going well. At the end of this, we have 11 high risks, 9 about our cloud provider and 2 about logging, and 4 medium risks, missing documentation like policies and schematics, to remediate in the next 60 days, or Otto will recommend that Dynapro's contract get modified or eliminated. To try to reduce those numbers, I ask for what they want and Otto tells me that it's not up to him, but the remediation team, who will contact us next week. After Otto tours the property, he leaves without any new complaints. Jürgen, Cassie and I talk. I'm not too popular, since the threat of non-renewal isn't going to make Dynapro's management happy. I do promise to make the intro call with the remediation team and close these issues out before it impacts Dynapro's contract. We also start an email thread with a few Dynapro operations people to work out a reasonable way to feed event logs back to client. We work out a few proposals to pitch the remediation team, but actual work will have to wait until we hear back from the remediation team. That seems to make them happy enough. I pack up my stuff and get back on the road the next day. A few days later, I'm enjoying air conditioning, yard-long frozen drinks and a bunch of friends for a week or so. The remediation team call is delayed long enough to allow me to travel home without incident. From the flurry of emails I'm CC'd on, it seems that Dynapro wants to spend some serious money and effort on building the capability to collect logs and pipe them to client, but would like my input. Since this is a project to make client happy, I remind everybody to hold off until we get more details from client. Cassie, Jürgen and a few more senior Dynapro people join the call. Otto introduces Jacques, who will handle the remediation items. Cassie and Jürgen want to fight Otto with new evidence. Otto likes none of it, since audits still can't be trusted. So we still have 15 items to fix. Jacques will review Otto's findings and will schedule weekly status calls going forward, and the call ends. I email Jacques about details on what logs they want and in what format. No response until the next call. The same usual suspects from Dynapro and Jacques. Pleasantries are short. Jacques: so, I have an item about you not doing background checks. Can you explain? Me: sure. Dynapro performs background checks for all employees. Our cloud provider handles checks on their own. Jacques: and what evidence can you show me? Me: we submitted a redacted background check and employment contract for us. For the cloud provider, it's discussed on pages 20 and 21 in the report. Jacques: I see. Jacques: and physical security in the data center? Me: audit report, page 8. This repeats through all the high findings. Jacques: can we review the data flow diagram? Me: I've uploaded a schematic to your share, along with the updated policies. I hear some clicking and some thinking noises from Jacques. Jacques: I'm going to call the 4 medium issues remediated. I need to talk to the previous assessor to understand why they didn't accept the audit report, since it's not a remediation. this isn't where I want to go. I'd rather not have an annoyed Otto re-reviewing us. Me. Can you accept the audit report as a new remediation on your own? Jacques, puzzled. I don't see why not. But it will get checked again next year. That's going to require a new audit report from the cloud provider. I'll send Cassie a calendar invite to remind her to download it. Me. That leaves the logging stuff. Do you have a schema you'll accept? Jacques. We haven't chosen one. Me. Okay. When you ask, we can output it the way you like when you finally decide. Can we call those issues closed as well? Jacques, thinking for a few minutes. Yes, I think so. Me. I'm fine with that. Jacques tells us that we're in the clear until next year's review, which we were going to have to do anyway. I got a dressing down from some VP at Dynapro for not ensuring a smooth process along with the check for my work. But I still got paid to ride a motorcycle. I'll call that a win.